Hey guys, I'm back. I got Aiden with me again today.
Hi.
Aiden, what's your weapon of the day? Yeah, it's a zombie kind of day. Alright, so, very requested, and I don't know, it's not that I put the video off, I just haven't gotten to it. I've had some of these for a while. So, Eafengrow, and if I'm pronouncing that right, you know, who knows. But there have been a lot of viewer requests to take a look at this brand, and I have intentionally not, messed with these knives because I wanted this whole unboxing. So I haven't done anything with them. They're displayed here so we can take a look at them, this intro. There's been so much interest and so many requests to look at these knives, and there's so many different models. I wasn't sure which ones to actually look at, so I got 6. We're only going to look at 2 today. We're going to split this video up, so it's not super long. We're going to take a look at 2 of them today. Budget friendly for the most part, right? Some designs very interesting on their own. Some designs very clearly we've seen somewhere else. 2 in point and case right there. I mean, there's others. But from what I've heard and what I've seen, they're kind of quality-wise, I've heard good things. From looks and aesthetics, they look pretty cool. So we're gonna, it's their time on the channel. So Aiden, would you please pick 2 of these knives that we're gonna look at right here, right now, today?
This one looks awesome.
So here's one, and what else? Pick one more. And this one? Sounds good. So these ones will be the subject of the following videos. Interesting though, packaging. Like, some of them come in these, even the nice little pouches are different. And in fact, that's great. We'll compare these 2. Some come in the boxes with the foam, some come in just boxes. It's just really interesting the way they choose to do things. But we'll look at the ones that Aiden has selected for us today. So over here on the right, we've got the CSS-333, the folding hunting knife. And this is an all D2 steel model, which is pretty cool. And then this little guy right here, this is the 0456 tactical folder. Tactical. Very tactical. Reference the tactical rant video. I'm going to have to put a link to that one again. And this is, doesn't it look remarkably similar to a zero tolerance knife? Yeah. So whether you want to get back into the argument of clones and copies, whatever, but we're going to look at it as its own knife. To give you an idea, I've had this since October. I've had this one since December, as I was gathering different knives, deciding what I was going to do the video on. Aiden, which one of these 2 knives do you want to look at first? Because they're very different knives made and built very different ways.
That one looks the coolest, but that one's glow in the dark.
It's actually not glow in the dark. Sorry to burst your bubble, buddy. This is just jade. Yeah, it's just jade D10. I know it looks glow in the dark. So you want to look at that one first?
Yeah.
So let's start with the 333. Now, I know there's been a lot of controversy lately. I don't know if controversy is the right word, but there's a lot of discussion with these brands from offshore. How do we know they're really the steel they say they are? It says D2, which is a premium steel. D2 is a good steel. It's a high carbon, excellent blade steel, great edge retention, great Rockwell hardness if you're into measuring your Rockwell hardness kind of thing. But how do we really know? You know what? We don't. We just got to go with it. Now, you can get, if you really want to get into it, some little picks and files that you can measure Rockwell hardness. But even then, that's not telling you whether or not it's D2. That's just telling you if it matches the Rockwell hardness they say it is. You can just have D2 that isn't properly heat treated and whatever. But, so it says it's D2. It says the whole thing is D2. Handle and blade and everything. Now, honestly, I think if that is true, that's kind of a waste. Because why would you need the whole handle and body to be made out of that high strength tool steel? You really only need the blade to be made out of that. It's fancy, sure, but you don't need that kind of strength on the handle itself. It can be just a stainless steel, and that would be fine. Now, regardless, that rant's over. It is really nice machine, CNC'd. So, number one, You've got grip on it, so it's not just a smooth knife. There's, I don't know if you can see in the light here, you got a nice little blue accent in your pivot. The finish on it's really, really nice. Kind of a nice black wash, like a very light stone wash in the coating. And of course, D2, high carbon, you're gonna want the coating. And for some reason, I'm really into the way they did this backspacer here. I'm wondering if I can take a little tiny tritium vial and put it in there and then just seal it in with some clear epoxy, because I think that would be awesome. And I have a little tiny blue one that I think would look really good there. I'll have to figure out if that would actually fit. Being all steel, it's got some weight to it. Pretty comfortable. Good jimping on the thumb ramp right where you would want it, and decent drop point shape. I like it. It's on bearings, so it's pretty good opening. Oh, and it's one of those. It's one of those flippers where if you don't get it just right, it's not going to open all the way. And that's a shame, because it's really smooth on bearings. But so this is a light switch, not a push button. But if you get the opening the right action, it's super smooth. Really nice. I like that it's not overly printed with different markings and stuff. They could have put their brand name all over it, but they didn't. It's just D2. Lockup on it is pretty good. I don't know how well that's showing up. Peter, leave the camera alone. I don't know how well that's showing up, but pretty early lockup. And you don't have any problems at all with stickiness. Oh, there's that flip problem again. So that's an issue with the flip. Pretty solid lockup. Not going anywhere. Centering on it is perfect. So this is another one of those brands that's trying to break that old, stigma about Chinese-made knives being low quality. I mean, PETA, do you mind? Thanks. If you look at just like these little details really speak to me. The way that they've got that really well done cutout. You got a banana? Awesome. The way that they do the cutout there in the lock for the big pivot over there, I mean, that's nice. That's a touch they didn't have to do. They could have done that a much easier way. That speaks to me that they take that extra step to care. Very tight clip though. So pros on that clip. Well, first of all, a clip is not going anywhere. So if you are not right-handed and you like tip-up carry, you're SOL. But it is not obtrusive or anything in your hand whatsoever. Feels pretty good. No, I don't know what about it. I don't know why. It has the feel of a cheap knife. Maybe it's because it's just all steel. And I don't know how to describe this, and I know it's going to sound snobby to say this. I'm sorry. I don't know a better way to phrase it. It's just, it feels like a cheap knife. And I'm not saying it is. There's something about the feel to it that I'm not crazy about. I don't know. I don't know. But at the same time, I like it. It feels good in your hand, and it's a really interesting design. That clip is really stiff, though. It does not want to give it all, and I worry about how that's going to rub your pocket, especially against that very rough texture right there. But at least it's not going anywhere. This one has some pretty nice packaging. It's got a nylon pouch with a little carry handle, zipper. It's got, like, I'm sure this is not, I don't know if this is real wool, kind of reminds me of old bomber jacket collars, but the pocket that the knife goes on is fully padded, so it keeps it very safe, which is cool because, this is going to show scratches and scrapes and anything in this finish, so they put it in a case that's going to fully protect it. And this is the kind of touch that you would see from a higher end knife maker, and it's got elastic straps, so I guess you could strap this to something if you wanted to. I don't know. But it's, if you want to protect it, or any other knife, I mean, it's a pretty well made little case. Stitching looks solid. It's a pretty good case. I mean, for the money you're paying for the knife, not bad. Cool. So let's look at the next guy. Now I'm gonna put it on screen in a minute. But what does this look like to you? Anybody? What knife does this resemble closely? Anybody? Looks a lot like a zero tolerance. A lot. Of course, this is a fraction of the price of the real thing, and this one is available in, I think, is black and maybe orange and jade. I had to go with the jade, and I think the jade was a good choice because the jade with the blue anodized hardware is nice. Now, why did they not do the screws if they were going to do the clip? And so you got kind of a, and this is, yes, I'm bitching now about color combinations, but if they're going to go to the extra step of doing all the color, you know, so black clip screws, silver frame screws, and then an anodized blue clip and pivot, I just don't get it. But it's got a really nice actual G10 backspacer, not plastic, which is really cool. Fit and finish, just like the other one, is really well done, perfect. I mean, the G10, the finishing on the G10, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get a good shot of it. It has just the slightest texture on there to give you a little bit of grippiness, but finished very smoothly on the corners, on the edges. Great texture on the backspacer. I love how it's raised just a little bit on the end there. While we're at it, centering is perfect. The ano job on the clip and the pivot is really nice. Pretty good action. I don't know, is this one on bearings? I can't really tell. This one doesn't feel like it's on bearings. This one feels like washers, but nowadays it's a little hard to tell. But great action. Kind of a thin lock there, but really well machined inset liner lock there. And you can see the lockup is very early, so you got lots of years of using this knife. Weight is really nice, really well balanced too. And the blade finish is beautiful. I mean, that looks like, I'm just saying, it looks like the kind of finish that you get on like a custom blade. A two-tone. Those grind lines are gorgeous. It looks like a knife that's way more expensive than it is. It really has a good look to it. Little small if you got big hands, but EDC-wise, this is, I think, a great size. This is something that I'm likely to carry for sure. Little difficult getting to the lock. Little stress on the thumb. Not too bad. Could have given a little bit more space right there. Made it a little bit more comfortable. Or had that liner lock just protrude out just a little bit. But still, not that big a deal. Yeah, there's the kids in the background. There's Ethan being Ethan. You coming in for more banana? Yeah. It's just a finishing wise, it's a beautiful knife. I really love it. I hope that it is made as well as it looks. I guess, you know, when you can copy the design of a really well made, expensive kind of production knife, your job's half done. The case on this one is not as nice. It's actually got a softer, I mean, it's really, I'd love to have pajama pants or something made out of this. Ooh, what a nice whoopee this would be. But just like plastic fake pleather case, it's not nearly as nice a case as this, but you get a zippered pouch. So again, traveling or just putting it in a bag, carrying it around, it's protected and pretty nice. I'm a lot more likely to carry this EDC than this. If I was still in uniform, though, I don't know, it's a little flashy for uniform carry, you know? This, I think, would be better, you know, in uniform, although the pivots are pretty shiny. I'd have to tone those down. But two great blades. They look really good. They look good. They feel good. A lot of good stuff going on. The brand obviously takes care to produce knives that look good. How do they cut? edge feels pretty well done. It's cutting very well. It is, but you see, it's. I mean, pretty good. Oh, there's a big difference actually. And it's. I mean, this is just nitpicky. This is just the finishing on this is not quite as clean. This is, I mean, this glides like you can't even feel it cutting the paper. I'm very excited to try this one in my pocket. I mean, I've had it for a while, like I said. I've been waiting. Almost done with the Black Legion paracord. Like nothing at all. I mean, it cuts like with no effort. Oh. A lot more effort required on the D2 blade, which is surprising. Not as clean a cut. I will say again, like I like to remind everybody, that, look at that, that's disappointing. Very disappointing. I'll say again that these blade tests, listen, if anything's gonna go wrong in a review or an initial look at a knife, the blade test is the worst. Is the least. Oh God, the blade test is the least of your problems. We can hone an edge a lot easier than we can fix a problem with centering or lockup or pivot wobble or something like that. I mean, all that does is show us how well the blade was finished before it left the factory, as a measure of how well they did. If I was to pick between two of these knives, though, for my personal carry, I would probably go with this guy right here. You have an armful of bananas!
Yeah, I got one for me and one for brother.
One for brother and one for you? That's so nice. What a good little brother. So in round one, looking at the Eafengrows, the unboxings, the little mini reviews, DocP's personal choice is the 0456. Lighter. I think it's, I mean, love the finish on it. The blade is like, a hot knife through air. I mean, it's so well finished. I do like the feel of this in the hand. A little bit bigger, a little bit more real estate to grab onto, but I think I'm going to try carrying this around. I definitely think I'm going to carry this for a little bit. This is still a fine knife. This is an excellent knife. Feels good, great action, sharp blade, I mean well-finished blade, fit and finish is really good. Personal preference here, I'm going with this guy. I think it's more of an EDC knife. I would not call this one tactical, but I think this is something more of a heavy-duty blade than this guy, definitely. So, there we go. So I've got two more of these Eafengrow unboxing and mini reviews to get through. 4 more knives. In the meantime, I've got so many other videos I gotta make of viewer requests. I've got a Q&A for February to put out. BattleBox should be here sometime soon, hopefully. I have a spoiler for the theme for BattleBox this month, and it should be awesome. Everyday Carry Box should be shipping out soon. Shit Hits the Fan Mystery Box, hopefully sometime soon. I mean, just all sorts of stuff coming up. Other knives that we're going to look at. I've got a handful more flashlights and multi-tools, lots of cool stuff coming up. So, until next time, I appreciate you. You were all totally awesome, and I'll be back again real soon.